السلام عليكم اخوتي. انا معكم حيث وجدت مباشره من فازبري بارك، وبالتحديد مسجد فازبري بارك، في لقاء اليوم من مجموعه من ابناء الجاليه، كذلك مجموعه من نواب البريطانيين ضد العنصريه والهجوم ضد الاسلام والمسلمين في بريطانيا، وربما في البرلمان، وبخصوص رئيس حزب العمال سيد جيريمي كوربين. المهم هذه المجموعة شوف داخل المسجد شعارها stand up to racism and Islamophobia، عن ضد يعني الريفيجي. مرحب بهم كذلك، الريفيجيز are welcome.
Welcome everyone tonight. Before I say much, I wanted to introduce a good friend of mine, Mohammed Kozbar. He's the chairman of the Board of Trustees here at Finsbury Park Mosque, doing some great work in the local community for Muslim congregants, but for other people throughout the community of Finsbury Park as well. And he wanted to say a few words by way of welcome. So Mohammed, over to you.
Hello everybody.
Assalamu alaikum.
Upon you all. Good evening everybody, and what a great audience. Great event, I hope.
To sit along with Teresa De Bono and Richard Sweeney, who I see is here tonight, and also at the council I've got some responsibility on the cabinet for community safety. So I'm going to try and chair proceedings this evening to come up from the community, and Colin is the chair of the community-led Islington Hate Crime Forum. So Colin, kick us off.
Thank you, Andy. As Andy said, I'm the chair of the Hate Crime Forum. Just by background, I'll stand up. Just by background, I run a community centre about 2 minutes down the road, near Crouch or Hanley Crouch. But I also chair a network of 12 community centres and octopus that cover the borough of Islington. Just tell you a little bit about what the Hate Crime Forum is. It's been around in existence for about a year. We're a collection of protest organisations based across Islington that have an interest and have network members that have experience, witness and still experiencing hate crime. We've met and discussed in great depth what we think around hate crime, and we've come up with key aims that we think that the forum should focus on. To increase awareness of hate crime and to report these hate crimes to relevant authorities. I say that report hate crime because still people don't know what hate crime is. We talk focus groups and people have said, I thought that was just being part of who I am, just the daily hassles. You talk to some of my young people, it's the daily hassles they feel, just being who they are, living in a diverse community. We also believe that we want to raise awareness of hate crime because there's a serious underreporting. We still see around, we believe, estimates around 40% underreporting. We know that lots of verbal hate crimes, lots of verbal assaults are not reported to the police, not reported to anybody. We've got a number that I've learned have come to the mosque and have reported hate crime, but not wanted to take them further. We need to make sure that it's taken further. Our second one was to support.
By his neighbor, and neighbor also damaged his property. When he went to police station to report it, and he asked if he could speak in Polish, he was told that this is enough, you have to speak English. When he asked, is there any way that you can help me with translation, he was told, yes, there is a surgery run by Polish police officers and you have to go there. It was quite a distance to travel, but he went there on the day that he was told to be there. And he found out that the surgery didn't happen at all. The building was closed, the lights were off. He got very upset, and finally he came to our office and asked us to help him to report the crime. But it took him 5 days reported, and I believe that many people will basically give up halfway. I believe that in order to tackle the hate crime, we have to work together. Council on its own won't be able to do it, or local authorities. Police won't do it without support from other services. So I think it needs to be our joint effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And because of this conversation, a guy turned around and started shouting at me, and then his shouting became a lot more abusive, and as I tried to calm down the situation.
My victims should be unsupported. But I do think that part of the reason that there has been an increase in reporting is because of some of the activity that's been happening across the Metropolitan Police, but obviously I'm going to be speaking specifically about Islington this evening. So what are the policemen doing about it? Which is a question I get asked a lot about a lot of things. And I often have an answer. So we have trained, we've rolled out training. In fact, the officer that's been responsible for the training is standing at the back of this hall. And we have rolled out training to all our officers about hate crime, about recognising people with particular vulnerabilities, about recognising people who really find it hard to come and talk to us because of a lack of trust in us, or a lack of belief in what we would do, or a lack of trust in the communities around us actually, or the fact that they feel so fractured, they don't feel the confidence of coming forward. It's not all about the trust in the police, but obviously we need to work really, really hard to encourage people to become more trusting of us, and then we'll treat them with respect and with dignity, and we will do all we can to respond to what they tell us. We also have a commitment to the local authority hate crime strategy. We support the hate crime forum, and obviously we had the participation in the hate crime week, which has already been talked about. We've looked at other ways that we can engage with people across Islington.
Thank you everyone for being here tonight. This is a wonderful meeting, and it's a testament to how far in this borough all of us are prepared to go to drive out hate crime, racism and any form of intolerance. We are a community that comes together in adversity and doesn't split apart. And it's a real pleasure to speak with everyone on this platform this evening. I know pretty well everyone in this platform quite well, and I'm very proud to be on the platform with them, because it's a showing that we are going to stand up against this horrible growth of intolerance and xenophobia that's happened over the last few months. And I want first of all to also thank Finsbury Park Mosque for throwing its doors open to us tonight. And it is a year ago that awful incident happened. We assembled out here to show our support for you, just as we would assemble outside any building of any faith community that was suffering the kind of attack that you suffered at that time, because that is our commitment to support each other. Muslim, be they Asian, be they any other particular community. And what you've done at the end of that is built up a nastiness and a hatred, and it's permeated the minds of children, and it's got worse and worse. But you know, at the end of it, you haven't built one house, you haven't trained one teacher, you haven't brought one new doctor on board, you haven't actually achieved anything other than dividing society. So you have to look at how you do things to go forward. And when people are actually confronted with their own xenophobia and their own racism, they suddenly think about it. Because if you've been in a car accident, hope nobody is, but if you're in a car accident and you're badly injured and the ambulance comes and takes you to hospital, and the ambulance crew pick you up, take you there, the emergency service treat you at the hospital, and hopefully you make a recovery. At that point, do you ask what the nationality is of the ambulance driver? Do you ask where the doctor trained? Do you ask which country the nurse came from? No, of course you don't, because you're desperate to be treated. At that point, you're a fellow human being, just like all the rest of them. And so I think we need to help our community and our society understand all this, but above all we need to help our children to understand all this. I admire the determined we'll get this message out so that we won't allow this very difficult post-Brexit referendum period to be one that divides the whole country. Instead, let's be united in what we want to achieve together, and recognise that when you're ill, you don't care who the doctor is, as long as they're a doctor who cares for you. You don't care because you want to be helped. At that point, you're a human being just like everybody else. That surely is our message here tonight. Thank you very much.
Having said that, the question I have is, it's all right to our officers and our police to capture hate crime, but we know that there are radicalising elements that the neo-Nazi
the issue around how to deal with perpetrators and have some of those incredibly difficult conversations when we're talking to somebody that we vehemently disagree with. Depends on the information that is given at the time of the call, which will relate to how quickly the police will prioritise that call and will get to them. So often it means if we believe that there's an immediate threat to life or that there's an immediate risk, that's where we will get to those calls more quickly than those where we think, actually, whilst this is dreadful and someone may have been a victim of crime or something else may have happened, there isn't that immediate risk to that individual's life. So in terms of circumstances that you're talking about, perhaps we need to talk, because you and I would be glad to talk about the experiences that you've had, and then we can look at what's happened. Because if there has been a failing, then I need to understand where that failing has been, but perhaps you and I could talk about that personally. More broadly, there's the comment around what we can do, what the police can do and should be doing. Because I will do my best, and I will make sure my officers go and speak to as many people as possible in the ways that we know how. But if we're not doing something, we need to do something differently, then please tell us, because we will do it, but sometimes we're not always knowing what the best thing is that we can do.
The question came around about security, and if there are particular concerns, then obviously I'd be happy to take them up. I have to say that this mosque itself has been under very unpleasant attacks and threats at various times, but I also have to say that the cooperation between the police and this mosque, as far as I'm concerned, has been absolutely superb, and we have managed to protect it as we would protect any other place of worship. There is also, and I think the question about the police response is an interesting one, because there is an issue of the lack of resources in so many other areas, such as in the mental health service, and the number of times that police officers have to, and quite correctly, respond to somebody that's going through a mental health crisis. It isn't really the job of the police to do it, but the police have to pick up pieces and do it, and that again diverts resources away from what their primary responsibility is. So it is a question about the funding and efficiency of all public services, and I think the point that Stephen was making in his contribution about what can we do, well, we have to address the issues that people consistently raise. The housing crisis isn't going to go away until there is a change of policy and far more investment put into building housing for people that desperately need it and can't afford to buy or can't afford very expensive rents. There has to be a solution to that, just as much as there has to be funding of all the other public services. Those issues are there and they're not going to go away, and we have to continue that debate on them. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to show our unity against the hate crime and the intolerance that has grown within our society, and be bold about it. We're strong, we're a community, we're together. We're not putting up with this stuff, and we are prepared to call it out. And just by coming together, that's a powerful message. And when Mendy's explaining what happens to him on trains, how many times have we all seen that and the whole carriage? Also, somebody amazingly interested in their shoes at that point, and you see it on buses as well. And one of the most interesting discussions I had was with a group of women from the Muslim Women's Association, went to see Transport for London to discuss their policies on it. To be fair to them, they were very open to the debate, very open to the discussion, and very open to trying to do something about it. So it is about making sure we take it up, all of us. If we don't, nobody else is going to. It's up to us, okay? Thank you very much.